Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only Pac-Man here, and once again, I am back for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos here. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Wii Party for the Nintendo Wii. So yesterday, we did pretty much show you guys the forms of the battle mode, and that was actually overall the quickest mode throughout the whole entire Let's Play so far, in terms of the mini-games variety, so as a result, yeah, we somehow managed to win on that. And today, here we go on to the fun part for today's video, and that is of course certain mini-games that we have not seen yet throughout the majority of the game so far. And that, we're going to be hit on to the forms of free play mode. Because originally, I was expecting to try to get on to the forms of the challenge mode, but I think we should probably best to save that up until specifically next weekend, because, well, as far as I'm aware, we're pretty much almost getting close towards the end of this, so anyways, let's get into free play. Choose any of the mini games featured in Wii Party to play at your leisure. So, yeah, that first one I was able to do that for the sake of time. And this time around though, I'm going to be selecting Tiana the Frog here, just to ensure about the fact that, again, change variety and stuff like that. Despite her clothing doesn't match up to the forms of the green color, so because of this though, we are pretty much forced to able to wear the blue outfit entirely, so as to be expected. So anyway, so we have ourselves quite a lot of mini games from 4 catalogs here, such as for instance we have 4-player mini games, 1 vs 3, 1 vs 1, and pair mini games. So let's get started with the forms of the 4-player mini games first, and if I recall correctly, the first mini game we have not played yet is Shifty Gifts. The presents are piling up, don't let them tumble over. So it's all about tilting, motion controls, balancing kind of mini game right here. Hold the Wii remote horizontally and tilt it left and right to balance your stack of gifts. This minigame can be kind of difficult at times, although, mind you about the fact that it's been ages since I actually last played this minigame. Oh jeez, Kamek, watch where you're going. And also you have to be very careful of the forms of the wind, of course, because that will actually knock your gifts essentially as well. And also, every once in a while, if you're almost at the halfway point of this, then obviously there are some more gifts that's about to be appeared. Oh, goodness gracious me! Oh, come on! Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on! Whoa! That was close. I could imagine if I was trying to able to play this minigame on master difficulty, oh man, I will be butt kicked very easily, so which I was originally going to do that, but I didn't get my chance to do it, so anyway, so the next minigame we have right here, let me double check on the list quickly. Popgun Pose. Shoot your can to rank up points. Each shot is worth 1 point, but you lose 2 points if it hits the ground. So I think this minigame is very similar to the forms of how it does it that we actually did from earlier on, which appears to be by the forms of, well, in one of those pair minigames, except the fact that rather than just trying to able to cooperative for each other, so instead we have to compete. So basically it's a standard, get some points to able to actually just, you know, keep shooting your own can rather than someone else's can. You can also do that for able to distract any other players, but again, as far as what the instructions tells us, is the fact that you lose points if it hits the ground, so we have to able to keep that can in midair, so just in case you can able to rank up points, so pretty standard stuff for the most part right here. And I got 21 points, and it looks like that those opponents are actually doing quite well when it comes to ranking up points and stuff like that, so yeah, I guess that's that. So I think that pretty much takes care of the forms of the majority of the first page, so we can move on to the next page. And I think the next minigame we have not played yet is Quick Chipper. Seems like a very cool minigame that involves around playing golf. So yeah, I think that might be something worth noting for anyway. So anyway, so let's just get this thing to it right here. And I do apologize with the forms of the actual well, I don't know what you call it that. So, chip as many golf balls into the hole as you can before time runs out. So yeah, play like a a standard golf club, so hold the Wiimote down and tilt it upwards to rise the white line, swing it when it hits, so yeah, that basically is all about timing and what have you. So yeah, it's kind of similar to the ones in Wii Sports Resort, and even especially noticeable with Wii Sports Club and possibly Nintendo Switch Sports in the future for adding the forms of that stupid free update system. Like, I know most people complain about the forms of the free update system every now and then because it just somehow starts to lose interest. So because of that though, I was right all along. So maybe next year, Nintendo, don't ever do the free update system again because that starts to get very tiring. Although it managed able to start to introduce that, technically speaking, was actually back in 2015 on the Wii U when they firstly released Splatoon and stuff like that. But anyways though, so let's move on to the next minigame, Maze Days. So basically it's like a labyrinthy maze game, so it's a race to the middle of the maze. On the way, you'll have to deal with 2 dizzy spinners. Which way is up? Hold the Wiimote horizontally and use directional pad to move. When you step on a dizzy spinner, it will mix up your controls. Gotcha. So gotta think about it, this minigame does remind me of Dizzy Rotatory from the likes of Mario Party 6, except the fact that there's no punishments on the likes of how it does it on this, so... Alright, so it looks like I'm not doing too bad, although except the fact that, well, I believe one of those players is almost getting close to the finish line, so I need to be fast. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, darn it, I was so close to being first. Dang it, it looks like that she managed to get it before me. Sometimes this minigame, I'm not gonna lie, is pretty difficult at times because, well, again, if you step onto those little dizzy pads, basically the controls are now mixed up, so... And I think that pretty much concludes this particular page here, so now let's move on to another page, such as we'll move on to the next minigame, Strategy Steps. Unfortunately though, this is another one of those luck-based minigames we have to go through, specifically if you play this with CPUs. Pick a number, 1, 3, or 5. If nobody else picks it, you'll climb that many steps. First to the top wins. So each round, use directional pad to pick number 1, 3, or 5. Basically left, up, and right. As far as I can recall, like I said, that this minigame is pretty much luck-based if you ever play this with computer players, because there might be a few times though that you will able to actually not move, or in some other cases though, there are a few rare occasions where sometimes this minigame can take forever to get through, especially because if you dare manage to able to pick the exact same number as everyone else does, basically they won't be able to move. Like for example, those 2 players just pick 5, and I pick 5, and we can't move along. But if you try to able to... I think this minigame does remind me of something similar to the forms of Mario Party 6, called Same as Lame, that basically we can't afford to able to pick this exactly the same numbers, so we always have to predict to able to actually choose the, well, a different number more than anything else, so... And in fact, that is about time that I finally managed to move, so, now, for what I've seen the actual speedruns of this game though, well, to be more specifically Wii Party in some cases though, sometimes they manage to get screwed over by the forms of this particular minigame like this. Because obviously sometimes they're most able to wait for about 2 minutes or 3 minutes depending on the forms of certain random luck factor come into play, and it's just about the fact that it can be rather a nuisance. So, especially noticeable, they always choose the exact same number as I pull out, like 3 or 1 or anything else like that. So, yeah, I could imagine about the fact that certain speedrunners out there managed able to actually get stuck on this minigame for some time and waste time if depending on, you know, computer players' behavior and stuff like that, so that could be, something, I guess. Oh jeez, it looks like we're getting pretty close, doesn't it? Oh, come on! What is going on? Huh? Okay, this is getting ridiculous now. Oh, come on! Why won't you let me go? Oh, jeez. Oh, really? Okay, thank you. Ah, that way I can now able to win that minigame no matter what. Cause good lord, that can take forever. Although to be fair though, it also kind of reminds me of, let's just say, Womp Stomp from Mario Party 9. That, except the fact you will deal with the boss. So, Plunder. So, this minigame is kind of fun. Swim around as a mermaid or merman and collect as many pearls as you can. Oh, and watch out for jellyfish. Okay, seems like a very cool plan. Hold the Wiimote horizontally and use directional pad to move and press 2 to swim. So yeah, basically we have to collect as many of those pearls as we could before time runs out, and you have to watch out for jellyfish as well, so... Makes sense, because, you know, jellyfish can be painful if you touch them, so, because obviously they're all trying to sting you, so... Well, if for those of you who've ever seen, well, you know what I mean, Finding Nemo and stuff like that, which, still is a really, really amazing movie, so because of this, though, yeah, a few things we want to explain while this is going on. Today's day is, of course, the 10th of July today, in this case in 2022 today. So about the fact the matter is, though, is the fact that we actually got ourselves some interesting information we'd like to discuss. Although, first off, it's a tie. Or to be more specifically, a draw. Because I'm pretty sure we've got the exact same amount of points as each other, so... Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Hammerheads. Seems like a whack-a-mole kind of mini-game like this. Hit the moles with your hammer to earn points. Brown ones are worth 1, and the gold ones are worth 3. Hold the Wiimote horizontally and press directional pad to move, and press 2 to swing your hammer. You can hit other players too, to stun them. Alright, seems like a plan. In fact, this minigame is like the reverse version of, well, let's just say, Monty's Revenge from the likes of Mario Party 7 and the Top 100 and Superstars, essentially. Because, well, I don't know what I usually say for this point, because, well, I do apologize if my commentary gets a little bit meh, because, well, it's just about the fact that I'm felt a little bit slightly tired. But, regardless of everything else, though, I'm still awakened as it is. Because, obviously, now we have to cope with the forms of the heat wave recently in the UK, which I have no issues there, except the fact that I have to drink lots today. So, because of this, though, yeah, as far as I'm aware, because, you know, we're still in the summer season, as to be expected, so... Anyway, so let's go ahead and move on to the next minigame that we have not seen yet, and that's what appears to be Space Race. This one is actually kind of a fun one. It's a good old-fashioned space race. When you fly through the pink rings, you get a super speed boost. Alright. Hold the Wiimote horizontally and use directional pad to control your direction, and tap 2 quickly to fly. Gotta think about it, this minigame does remind me of Cartwheel from the likes of Mario Party 7, except the fact that, well, basically, as you can tell, we're racing onto the forms of the actual figure 8 right here. However, unlike in Mario Party 7, that you have to be able to utilize the actual go-karts, so instead we're actually going to become superheroes and stuff like that while flying through space. So, which that reminds me about the fact that, well, the actual outfit we're actually going to be using is exactly the same one as Space Brawl, so yeah, that makes it totally obvious. So, I get the feeling I actually got ourselves a new record, so, new record! Yeah, I do miss the time where they basically forgot able to put a new record announcer on like Mario Party games and stuff like that. So, anyway, so that pretty much does it from here. Now let's move on to the last 2 minigames in terms of 4-player minigames. Chin Up Champ. Who can do the most pull-ups in 10 seconds? Let's find out. Press A and B at the same time. To perform a chin up, keep pressing the buttons as fast as you can. you know, it's kind of like Tuber Tug from the likes of Mario Party 9, except the fact that unlike in that minigame, you have to use motion controls and A and B pressable buttons at the same time in order to able to make it count, so able to actually press all these buttons and stuff like that. But here, you have to mash A and B at the same time in order to do some chin-ups. And my god, my fingers are painful. Well, despite the fact that I have no fingers at all, so I'm gonna have to able to utilize my very awkward setup or something like that. But anyway, last minigame, Balloon Buggies, in terms of 4-player minigames variety, so... burst balloons with your own buggy to rank up points. Pink ones are worth 1 point, and gold ones are worth 3. Okay. Hold the Wiimote horizontally and tilt it left or right to steer. Press 2 to accelerate, and 1 to reverse. Alrighty then. So, anyway, while this is going on, recently that we actually got ourselves another tour coming up, which I'm sure they'll let Ray the Flying Squirrel will able to talk more details about that, because I don't want to able to spoil something for you guys, because, well, I'm sure that most people already know of what the next tours are going to be, but either way though, we'll able to actually let it be. And another thing is worth mentioning for is the fact that we're actually getting ourselves another new game coming onto the Nintendo Switch Online membership services, specifically the expansion pack. And to be more specifically, it's yet another Nintendo 64 game, which, as a result of that kind of stuff, though, we're expecting to be able to have something like, more than that. To be more specifically, with the forms of, well, some more sets coming up in the next couple of months or something like that. But apparently, we're actually getting one for the sake of the forms of this month, which, to be expected, it is going to be another Pokemon game. Which this time around though, for longest time, although I'll get to more now in a moment, until whenever we move on to the next selections of minigames, so... But I did somehow win anyway though, because I'm not gonna lie, pretty great at this minigame though, but for I've played with any other multiple people and stuff like that, that I managed to have a really good time with it. Well, usually relatively speaking, it's hard to explain, because I do apologize that this particular uploading schedules is actually getting kind of slowly because of how the fact that, well, you probably already know. Alright, 1 versus 3 minigames here, so I think we only played 2 of those minigames right here, so the only missing ones are 3 of these minigames. So let's get to it with Lumber Wax. So, and just like the forms of how it does it on any other Mario Party games, you can switch between either solo or team. So, the solo player's goal is to chop and kick the logs being thrown by the team, get whomped 3 times, and it's over. Oh boy, we have to do a bit of a timing thing going on here. Shake the, or swing the Wiimote to kick and chop the flying logs, and it's all about timing. And it's the same thing for the team of 3, except the newest feature they've got is that they hold the A button while they swing the actual logs and stuff like that to throw even faster. So, time to do some bit of, well, karate style, I suppose. So yeah, when you get the down of it, if you know the timing and what have you, it might not be too bad. So, anyway, so the next Nintendo 64 game they added in, for the sake of the forms of, I think it will happen during at some point until on next Friday, to be more specifically Friday the 15th of July, and that will have to be Pokemon Puzzle League. So, yeah, pretty cool, they're able to now actually have that game after the Wii era. So, because for some reason, they just never seemed able to get this game, or get the game, during the course of on the Wii U Virtual Console re-release, which I totally did not understand why. That, I've no idea why they skipped the Wii U release of Pokemon Puzzle League. So, anyways, so let's move on to the next minigame, which is none other than... Hide and Peek. I was going to go for the chronological order, but I'm actually going to be able to switch the teams and what have you, so I'll be on a team of 3, just to make things a little bit more interesting. So, Hide and Peek, here we go. Each player on the team picks a hiding spot. If the solo player can find them all in 5 turns, is a win. Alright, so point the Wiimote at the location you want to search and press A. And then hold the Wiimote and, yeah, just choose the hiding spot. This minigame can be kind of intense at times, especially noticeable if you think you're about to be safe, but next you notice the fact that one of those players were able to actually guess of where you were, so... Doesn't matter what should I choose, honestly. I mean, surely I'm just gonna have to mess around. Alright, so it looks like she's gonna have to able to pick 5 locations, so... And she somehow managed to find one of our players, so... I might be nervous about this. Oh, don't tell me I just get spotted. Oh, okay. I somehow never get spotted by that statue, so... I think there are a grand total of 7 spots you can able to actually hide it from, but... Either way, where am I? Oh, I was in a boat. Okay, I'll take a win for that. So, who knows? Alright, so I think we've only got one more minigame left in terms of 1 versus 3 variety, and we'll switch back onto single player, and that is Flying Fruit. The solo player's goal is to count the fruit shown at the start. The team has to try and hide the flying fruit. So, yeah, count up the fruit by pressing A, and then subtract from your total of necessary by pressing B. So... And point the Wiimote to move your panels, work together to hide the fruit. So, sometimes this minigame can be easy at times, because if you pretty much see the obvious fruit shape, then you pretty much know exactly what to expect. So, alright, so let's see, we need to count those apples. Apples, apples, apples! I have no idea why I'm just pointing things out with the apple blooms impression from the likes of Call of the Cutie episode, but anyway, and it seems totally obvious because Applejack loves Apple so much because, you know, she's Applejack. What do you expect? So yeah, I think I actually know how many apples they actually shown us, which appears to be 14. So, is it 14 then? Bingo. In fact, this minigame also does remind me of the minigame called Mario Cheep Cheep Check from the likes of Mario Party 10. That basically you get some distractions on a team of 3, and then the single player needs to guess how many of them there are in terms of Cheep Cheeps and stuff. But anyways, let's move on to 1 versus 1 minigames now. So I think there's actually quite a few minigames that we haven't exactly played yet. So in this case though, let's go and get started with the first one of the lineup. And that's what appears to be something related to a counting game, which is Commuter Counts. So let's begin, shall we? Count up all the passengers riding on the train as it rushes by. So press A to count each me that you set. You won't know each other's total until the game is over. And obviously this minigame does remind me of Goomba spotting from Mario Party 9 and Mario Party Superstars recently. So basically it's that fact that we need to count how many me's there are on the train. So... oh jeez, I think my eyes is all gone all messed up. And somehow we both picked 15. Oh, wait a minute. I think I get the strong sense of feeling that it might not be the exact count, because... oh, wait a second. Do we get the exact number? Oh, right on. But here's one problem. We ended up in a tie. Ah, that's a bit worthless, doesn't it? But to be expected with most computer players, sometimes they're doing pretty good. Alright, Tumble. It's lumberjack time. The first player to make enough chops with the axe to tumble the tree is the winner. Alright, so it's all about rhythm and timing as well. Swing the Wiimote to swing your axe swing when the axe is as high as it goes for a deeper chop. Yeah, it's all about rhythm because as you know it's with that musical note symbol they've shown us. But yeah, it's actually pretty interesting and cool at the same time that we now actually saw another re-release of the forms of Pokemon Puzzle League for the Nintendo 64. As I said before, that the last time we actually had Pokemon Puzzle League was actually back on the Wii, which I've noted why for some reason that the Wii U doesn't seem able to get the game for some reason. Well, it's pretty obvious because of the lack of support on the Wii U. Although, mind you, we did have some good titles on the Wii U for the likes of the N64 titles, such as, of course, Donkey Kong 64, Super Mario 64, and you name the rest. So, anyways though, let's move on to the next minigame that we have not seen yet, and that is Popping Pilots. So, pilot your plane into the balloons to pop them. Pink ones are worth 1 point, while gold ones are worth 3. So, hold the Wiimote horizontally to fly, tilt back to go up, and forward to go down, and left or right to turn. So, I think this minigame is kind of similar to balloon buggies from the likes of the 4-player minigames variety, except rather than take control of the actual dome buggy, so instead now we need to ride on the plane. So, or take control of the plane, I should say. And the actual goal remains the same, is the fact that we need to pop as many of those balloons as you can, except we're now going into an on-rails linear track. So, yeah, that pretty much expects how this is going. So, yeah, because of that, though, that's the actual release date for it is going to be on, well, as I said before, the 15th of July, in terms of Pokemon Puzzle League for the likes of the N64, you know, online expansion pack from the likes of the Switch. So as a result, we've seen a gameplay footage of the actual Pokemon Puzzle League game compared to the original N64 hardware. Although I think I'll let Ray the Flying Squirrel will talk more details about that. Although I'll talk more in a second. So, Flagfoot Race, it's like the identical version of that familiar minigame that we saw from the likes of the 4-player minigame version. So, except the fact that, as you noticed, that it's all about two players, as to be expected. Even though I've noted why I'm going to show this to you guys. Especially noticeable, it's basically exactly the same game as the 4-player minigame version, except, you know, it's a dual minigame. So, thought it's worth showing this off because, well, just feel like showing you guys every single minigame, so how this game actually has to offer. So, and I think that pretty much concludes all of the dual minigames, and now let's move on to the majority of the pair minigames. Despite we have not played that much of it though, because obviously we did balance boat for one time because it is so difficult. So anyways, let's begin with Paddle Pals. You're up a gig with one paddle each. Work as a team to reach the goal as fast as you can. So swing the Wiimote to paddle. If you want to turn, have a person on the opposite side do the pedaling. So I think for the most part, if you ever play the pair minigames on free play mode, it doesn't matter what performance you actually do in this. So, because unlike in you know, in balance boat mode, that sometimes though you have to do a different objective and stuff like that. It's based off from time or a certain amount of points you need to reach and all that stuff. So yeah, that basically summarizes it such. But I digress. So let's just make our way to the finish. And I don't think there's any new record time on here, so it's just for bragging rights, I guess, to able to participate in stuff like that. So, alright, next one we have is Basket Bonanza. So, basically it's like a basketball kind of mini game. So, score as many baskets as you can. Coordinate your shots so you don't mess each other up. Flick the Wiimote up to throw the ball. It's all about finding that perfect rhythm with your partner. In fact, this minigame does remind me of free throws from the likes of Mario Party 4 and the Top 100 as well. So it's just the fact that it's all about the actual specific timing and rhythm as well. And the new record for this is 40, which unfortunately though, it's not going to happen to able to actually replace the new record because, well, it seems that we are not doing that great with all that rhythm timing and stuff like that. So, But yeah, that's as far as I can usually try to describe it, I guess, but at least we got about, 32. So it looks like we're getting quite close for that particular new record score, but I'll take it then. Alright, so next one we have is Meet and Greet. This minigame can be luck-based at times, but still. Meet up with your partner as fast as you can. Only one door in each room will lead to the next room, so good luck. Point the Wii remote at the door and press A to open it, so that's all you have to do. And I believe if you ever played the balanced boat mode, basically though is the fact that you have to do with the time limit. Whilst in here though, it's basically the fact that, oh, so sorry. I did not meant able to see someone in a toilet, but that might be sounding pretty gross. Yeah, there might be quite a few traps here and there, such as for instance you might get hit by a tire, or in some cases though that you will able to actually get knocked back by that particular random boxing glove, and I think that's as far as I can say for this point goes. Ah, jeez, I got knocked back. But it doesn't matter because I think, yep, somehow she meets up. And also this minigame does almost kind of reminds me of Monsters Inc. for some reason because of traversing through different doors and stuff like that, which, you know, makes it pretty obvious. Fishing buddies. Or fishing, fishing buddies. It takes 2 angulars to wiggle in these crazy fish. Pull up at the same time to make the catch. When the fish nibbles on your lane, the Wii remote will vibrate. Pull up quickly at the same time to wheel in a whooper. I might not be great at this minigame though personally because, well, relatively speaking, it's all about timing once again. So it's just the fact that you have to be so rely on timing, so. And I believe on the balanced boat mode you have to get a certain amount of fishies and stuff like that, so. But if you time it perfectly, like I just did right there, then you should be able to do it well enough, so. There's always, every single fishies is always going to be all in gold, as opposed to like regular colors and stuff like that, but it knows what it is for the most part, so So yeah, when it comes to the forms of Pokemon Puzzle League is now finally coming back onto the forms of the actual Switch online membership services. Apparently though, it's gonna be only exclusively to the English versions, to be more specifically, with the UK version and the American version apparently, because, as you already know, Pokemon Puzzle League never saw the light of day in Japan though, because, well, I just have no idea why, they just skipped the Japanese release, so. Anyway, Pop Coaster. Pop the balloons and collect the gifts. The green gift is worth 10 points, a red is 5, and a blue is 1. To pop the balloon and point at it with the Wii remote and press A to shoot. Seems like a very standard shoot 'em up kind of minigames like this. It feels like the girls are actually working together on this minigame though, well to be more specifically for the majority of those pair of minigames to begin with, so. Because you know, we're playing as Tiana, so yeah, that seems totally obvious. And also this minigame does remind me of something related to the actual dance sequence in Dancing Stage Mario Mix called Rolling Coasting, and that was obviously a remix theme of Luigi Circuit from the likes of, actually between Luigi Circuit and Mario Circuit and Yoshi Circuit at the same time. That is obviously as a remix version of, you know, the remix song from the likes of Mario Kart Double Dash, so makes a totally obvious sense right here. And I believe the minigame ends as soon as we come to a complete stop. And also that particular minigame does almost remind me of those lucky segments from the likes of in Mario Party 10 in Mushroom Park. Although except the fact that you don't use the Wii Remote's pointer in order to do it, so you have to press the A button only, so. Fly Cycle Team. cooperate with your teammates to pedal your fly cycle as far as you can. Collect the hearts to regain energy. Turn the Wii mode like a bicycle pedal. The faster you go, the higher you fly. But you also use up more energy. So, yeah, we need to be very careful of the forms of the stamina, so... And the new record for this is 377 meters. So, could I possibly make it for this point? Well, we should probably find out as soon as we're able to do, you know, a lot of timing and what have you. So, we can pretty much expect how we can able to just make our way through. So, yeah, because as a result, as I mentioned this before, Pokemon Puzzle League never saw light of day on the forms of Japan, which I was a bit surprised because despite the fact that it's been made by Japan, of course, for the sake of the forms of some anime sequences, but as far as I'm aware, that from the likes of the forms of in Japan, for the sake of the forms of or let's just say, they're going to be able to having ourselves a different game coming up on this Friday as well. So as a result, instead of getting a Pokemon Puzzle League in Japan, so instead, the Japanese owners will able to only get Custom Robo version 2. So, for the N64 anyway, which, I never actually heard about the forms of the Custom Robo, you know, series up until when Super Smash Bros. Brawl roll around on, well, actually, gonna think about it, one of those trophy subscriptions for Super Smash Bros. Melee, because, well, personally, I never actually played any of those Custom Robo game series because they are only exclusive to Japan. So as a result of that kind of stuff, though, is the fact that, well, honestly, I've no commented on that because, wow, it's just the fact that I've never actually played those series before, so... And it looks like we pretty much run out of stamina now, so we just somehow go into a complete stop like that. But, luckily we got ourselves a new record! Like 726 meters we actually gone by. Alright, so let's move on to the next minigame. Pump Card Panic. Oh, this could be interesting. Work together to pump the lever on this wacky mine cart and outrun the giant boulder. So when your side of your lever is up, swing the Wiimote down to pump the cart forward. It's kind of like a combination of Gourmet Getaway from Mario Party 6 because you obviously getting chased by the boulder, as well as the forms of pumper carts from the likes of the forms of Mario Party 8, just because you have to deal with the forms of a lot of emphasis on motion controls. And I believe if you get bumped by the forms of the boulder, it's already over, so... Well, luckily though, we somehow succeed. I'm not gonna lie, this minigame can be confusing at times, because, well, for some reason I keep thinking about Mario Party 8 counterpart of this, but that's only mainly because I'm used to it, so... Blastronards. Alright, seems like an interesting one. Avoid the asteroids and blast to the goal together as fast as you can. Hold the Wiimote horizontally and tilt it left and right to control your flight, and press 2 to blast with your jetpack. So yeah, I think it's like the reverse version of Lunar Landings for the sake of the forms of the 4-player minigame variety, except rather than just trying to go down, instead now we have to go up. So, with our, you know, jetpacks that we can use, so... Seems like standard fare. So, I digress. Oh, and another thing I would like to explain about this as well. Recently, I've managed able to finally pre-order Splatoon 3 for the Nintendo Switch, despite the fact that most people seemed able to lose interest. Well, most people are very excited, including myself, but for some reason, most people seemed able to think it seems a bit underwhelming, because, well, some people seem to say that, well, since that Splatoon already got the actual, the game on the Nintendo Switch, which is of course Splatoon 2, and then we already got one on the Wii U, but then, obviously, they managed to realize they're getting the second Splatoon game on the Switch. But anyway, Rodent Rundown. Seems like a very interesting minigame to me. How did that mouse get that key? work together to corner the pesky rodent and get out of this weird place. Hold the Wiimote horizontally and use directional pad to move, so pretty standard stuff. This minigame does remind me of Zoom Room from the likes of Mario Party 9. That's basically, it's kind of like, you know, kind of similar, except, well, in a different angle and stuff like that, so... Alright, we should able to... Oh, goody, we actually cornered him. And thus you get more time as opposed to 30 seconds on Zoom Room, so... Because I think you're able to start the minigame off as in 60 seconds, so that should be a lot of time to work with. Alright, so that's that. So now let's move on to Spring Ringers. I haven't played this minigame for donkey's years, you know. Toss the rings onto the flowers that make them bloom. Try to get all 12 of them before time runs out. So, to toss each ring, hold down B and swing the Wiimote. A big swing will throw to the back row. In fact, this big game does remind me of Peter Me Mario from the likes of Mario Party 9, except that unlike in Mario Party 9 and Peter Me Mario though, you don't hold the B button, at least as far as I can recall. But regardless of everything else though, it's just the fact that it's all about tossing and also a lot of emphasis on timing too, so assuming if you're trying to able to get those rings in those, you know, flower pots entirely, so... Yeah, for the most part, that's pretty much as far as I can think about it. So, yeah, as I said before, I've recently pre-ordered Splatoon 3, and unfortunately I didn't get ourselves the actual, the free bundle with, I would say like a pin, but that's pretty much the same goes. We only got the physical version, although mind you, we were also able to wait for that until on September, so... Bobsled Highway. It's bobsled time. Work together to race to the finish. Slide over the glowing panels to boost your speed. This minigame is pretty fun though. Hold the Wiimote horizontally and tilt it left or right to lane. And when you both lane at the same way, you'll change lanes. Yeah, this minigame is pretty fun, especially noticeable. It always reminds me of something related to Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games, including the Sochi 2014 version, except the fact that, well, rather than just able to actually just use the gamepad the whole time while the actual camera is on throughout the whole entire everything, so yeah, that basically explains it. So, and also if you manage to get the dash panels, you get a lot of speed, so yeah, that basically summarizes it such. So, and also I did manage to pre-order myself Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on DVD. So because of this though, I am so excited able to rewatch that amazing film again. So hopefully I can able to actually watch that so many times. Alright, Skipping Squad. Swing the skipping rope with your partner. See how many times you can get all 5 jumpers to jump. Swing the Wiimote like it's the end of the skipping rope. The trick is finding the right rhythm. So it's kind of like the same one as the forms of how it does it on the basket Bonanza minigame, except, well, we now need to rely on the forms of skipping rope, so... I'm not gonna lie, this minigame is a bit tough though, in my honest opinion, because you have to rely on a lot of rhythm, and the new record for this one is 38, so... I highly doubt I'm probably not gonna make it for that specific number, mind you, so Oh, and another thing as well, about the fact that what's even amazing about whenever I managed to pre-order Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on DVD for its movie, basically it will manage to able to come with the forms of the animated short featuring Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. So because of that though, I'm really looking forward to it, able to watch it for reals. Because I think I've technically already seen it from the likes of certain random videos out there, and it looks pretty promising because, well, despite the fact that I'm not good able to spoil things for you guys, especially noticeable because, wow, it has been a very long while since I actually mentioned something related to Sonic the Hedgehog 2, so... Alright, Teamwork Temple. It takes a lot of teamwork to reach the treasure hidden deep in this temple. Work together to strike it rich. Hold the Wii remote horizontally and use the... yeah, you get the idea. Use directional pad to move, and then press the 2 button to able to activate something, such as... you know, just turning the actual, the chest part into the correct spawning, you know, display here. And also just trying to able to, I think at the end anyway though, oh, there's also a couple of switches to activate as well for this corresponding colors for those flames. So, yeah, pretty simple. Now I believe at the end of it though, I think you have to do have a lot of emphasis on mashing the 2 button down, so it'll be crazy though. And I get the feeling that we almost nearly at the end of free play mode basically, because my god, this is by far the longest video we ever done so far. Especially noticeable because we have not played that much mini-games for that variety, so yeah, we'll just let you go through because of that block is this just blocking us or something like that. Alright, so we're not doing too bad, all things considered. Hopefully we've got more time here. Yeah, at the end, we need to mash the 2 button. Oh, I think I need to go to the other side, because that partner's in my way sometimes. My god, it does remind me of dungeon duos from the likes of Mario Party 4, and recently Superstars, so... yeah, this minigame does remind me of dungeon duos, basically. But I do like that. Alright, 2 more to go. Next up we have is Hidden Charms. Work together to find all 5 of the 4-leaf clevers in the painting before time runs out. Point the Wii remote and press A to find that specific spots. I'm not gonna lie though, this minigame can be tricky at times, especially noticeable that sometimes it can be very well hidden, so... But at least right off the bat though, I did found 3 of them already. Or 4 I should say. But where's the last one though? Mind you, we have less time, so... it might not be that generous though. But at least we did manage to accomplish that at the very least. Now let's move on to the final minigame, and that is Banana Blockade. Get these bananas out of here. Slide the crates out of the way and team up to move the bigger ones. So yeah, hold the Wii remote, yeah, you get the idea. Use directional pad to move, and then press 2 to, like, get the hold of the forms of the crates, and that's all we have to do. Actually, gotta think about it, between the forms of this minigame right here, along with the forms of TB transfers, and also with the forms of shifty gifts and well, let's just say you know, hidden charms and stuff like that. Basically though, is the fact that they do have the challenge mode counterparts of those minigames, where basically I think 2 of those minigames are gonna be exclusive to 2-player mode, so unfortunately we can't show that off. But as far as I'm aware, for the rest of them anyway though, basically though is the fact that we have to, like, what's my AI doing? Especially noticeable, she was on expert mode, so, but at least I'm doing a lot of hard work there. But, mind you, it's been ages since I actually last played this, so because of this though, forgive me if I botched everything else for this point, so, do I have to, like... I don't know, actually, because it's just well, it's just for some reason my AI just goes, like, completely random most of the time, especially on expert mode. Could imagine if I played this minigame on balance mode with my AI and stuff like that, it'll be kind of, you know, kind of random. Oh, looks like she's coming. Because basically I have to able to activate something from that. Okay, that's how it's supposed to. Can you get out of my way, please? Oh, for God's sake, just get out of my way. Let me do this hard job. Hi. Sometimes AI can be rather amusing at times. But there we go. A minute and 40 seconds and 4 milliseconds. Jeez, that can take a while. Although, to be fair though, this is almost like a puzzle kind of mini game, so yeah, that pretty much expected. So there we go, we basically have accomplished every single mini games that we'd like to show you guys. So, in terms of free play anyway, so yeah, that's that. So, with that being said though, is the fact that I think, relatively speaking, we are moving on to the next mode, which is the challenge mode, which does have filled to the brim with like a lot of minigames here. So I think suffice to say, we'll pretty much get the endings of this point right here, so join me next time for more of Let's Play of Wii Party, and that is the fact that we'll show you guys the majority of the challenge minigames. So, I think let's begin with the forms of the first one out of the way, which appears to be Hidden Charms and Shifty Gifts, because those are relatively the shortest challenge modes, so that pretty much summarizes itself. So I'll see you guys in the next weekend. Later, fellas.